Are you here to find out which states don't collect state income taxes? Then you're in the right place. In my life, I've lived and worked in a state that does not collect state income taxes, one of them which is Florida, and I've also lived and worked in a state that does collect state income taxes, which is Georgia. And every year at this time, I'm always reminded that I am working in a state that does collect state income taxes. I am reminded of this because I have to prepare several tax returns every year. However, as a business guy in Georgia, I sometimes have to step back and think about it. Aside from the extra fees I have to pay to file state income tax returns, am I actually paying much more taxes in Georgia than other states that do not have a state income tax? And so this video is about my research and what I found. But first, a quick disclaimer. The information I am providing here is generalized information. Also, everyone's financial situation is different. My presentation of the data by the Tax Foundation is a small sampling of the larger database. Where people ultimately choose to live and work goes beyond tax considerations, but I know it's an important consideration for many. Quite frankly, many people don't want to move into a state that they're going to be heavily taxed on. Most people work very hard for their money. They're going to do their very best to retain their earnings by not having to pay any more taxes than they have to. And one important factor is whether or not paying state income taxes is actually a big issue. Let me state some facts that most people know. Both California and New York are among the most populous states in the US. And California and New York residents are among the highest taxed in the US. However, it doesn't change the fact that both California and New York are highly desirable places to live for many people. They are highly desirable states for other reasons that go beyond state income taxes. But if you're watching this video, obviously the issue of state income taxes is somewhat important to you. As a real estate broker in Georgia, I know there are many people looking to move into Georgia. And so in this presentation, I've also included Georgia data as a comparison to the states that don't have a state income tax as a basis of comparison. So let's not waste any more time and let's get to it. The first state we're going to look at is the great state of Alaska. Alaska is located next to Canada, away from the continental US. According to the data collected from 2020, the state and local tax collected per capita in Alaska is $5,115. It is the 26th highest in the US. Compare that to Georgia, which is lower at $4,125, which is the 42nd highest in the US. In other words, Georgia is pretty low when it comes to the state and local tax collected per capita. Translating that as a percentage, the state and local sales tax for Alaska is 1.76%. And the reason why Alaska has this very low state and local sales tax rate, technically Alaska does not have a state sales tax, but they do have a local sales tax in many areas of Alaska. So that's what the 1.76% is all about. And unsurprisingly, with this very low state and local sales tax rate, it is number 46 in the US. In Georgia, I have to say, I'm not too crazy about this, the average state and local sales tax rate in Georgia is 7.35%. It is the 19th highest in the US. Now let's take a look at the property tax rate for owner-occupied valued homes. In Alaska, the property tax rate averages out to be 1.02%. And interestingly, it is the 21st highest in the US. Compare that to Georgia at 0.91%, which makes it the 25th highest in the US. In terms of the top source of taxes collected, property taxes in Alaska is the top source of taxes collected. The same thing goes for Georgia. Property taxes are the top source of taxes collected in 2022. I next move on to Florida, where I was born and raised. I know Florida very well because I've lived over half my life in Florida and spent a good portion of my career working in Florida. In terms of the state and local tax collected per capita for 2020, it is $3,987. It is the 45th highest in the US. Compare that to Georgia, which is fairly close, to $4,125. Looking at the average state and local sales tax rate for 2022, Florida comes out as 7.01%, the 23rd highest in the US. Compare that to Georgia, which is very close at 7.35%. The property tax rate for owner-occupied valued homes in 2020 for Florida is 0.91%. It is almost identical to Georgia's rate at 0.91%. Now, they both say 0.91%, but the rating is different, and I believe that's due to rounding. The top source of taxes collected in Florida for 2022 is property taxes, and with Georgia, property taxes are also the top source of taxes collected in 2022. Moving on to the West, we'll take a look at Nevada. The state and local tax collected per capita in 2020 is $4,850. It is number 28th highest in the US. Georgia is $4,125, lower than Nevada. The average state and local sales tax rate in 2022 for Nevada is 8.23%, making it the 13th highest in the US. Compared to Georgia, Georgia's looking good at 7.35%. Now, when you take a look at the property tax rate for owner-occupied valued homes in 2020, the average property tax rate is 0.6%, which is among the lowest in the US, which is why it's ranked 41st highest in the US. I have to say, it is much better than Georgia's 0.91%. Interestingly, the top source of taxes collected in 2022 is general sales tax. Compare that to Georgia, the top source of taxes is property tax. Next up, we have South Dakota. The state and local tax collected per capita in 2020 for South Dakota is $4,289. It is the 37th highest in the US. Compare that to Georgia at $4,125. The average state and local sales tax rate in 2022 for South Dakota is 6.4%. So Georgia, in comparison, South Dakota does worse at 7.35%. Now, when you look at the property tax rate for owner-occupied valued homes in 2020 for South Dakota, it is 1.18%, making it the 17th highest in the US. Georgia does better at 0.91%. The top source of taxes collected in 2022 for South Dakota is general sales tax. In Georgia, the top source of taxes collected is property tax. Next up, we have the great state of Texas. Everything is bigger in Texas, and Texas has a high profile for being very favorable in taxes. But let's take a look at it. The state and local tax collected per capita in 2020 for Texas is $4,709. It is the 31st highest in the US. However, Georgia does a little bit better at $4,125. The average state and local sales tax rate in 2022 in Texas is actually quite high. It is at 8.2%. It is the 14th highest in the US. Georgia's looking very good compared to Texas at 7.35%. The property tax rate for owner-occupied valued homes in 2020 is actually quite shocking to me. It is a whopping 1.66%, making it the 6th highest in the US. Georgia's looking very good at a low 0.91%. So this is part of my point of doing this presentation. Things look very differently when you compare different numbers to different states. And the property tax rate in Texas, in my view, is disproportionately high compared to many states I'm looking at. And in Texas, the top source of taxes collected in 2022 is not surprisingly property tax. We move on to the great northwestern state of Washington. The state and local tax collected per capita in 2020 is $6,040, making it the 14th highest in the US. It is way higher than Georgia at $4,125. The average state and local sales tax rate in 2022 for the state of Washington is a whopping 9.29%, making it the 4th highest in the US. Georgia's looking very good compared to the state of Washington at 7.35%. The property tax rate for owner-occupied valued homes in 2020 is looking very comparable to Georgia. It comes in at a 0.88%, which is the 28th highest in the US. Georgia comes in a little bit higher at 0.91%. The top source of taxes collected in 2022 for the great state of Washington is general sales tax. In Georgia, the top source of taxes collected is property tax. And next up, we have the state of Wyoming. The state and local tax collected per capita in 2020 for residents of Wyoming is $5,564. It is the 18th highest in the US. Georgia is doing better at $4,125. The average state and local sales tax rate in 2022 is a very low 5.22%, making it number 44th highest in the US. And there's no contest here. The average state and local sales tax rate for Georgia is 7.35%. Definitely Wyoming is looking much better here. The property tax rate for owner-occupied valued homes in 2020 for the state of Wyoming is very low. It's looking very good at 0.56%, making it the 44th highest in the US. Georgia's average property tax rate for owner-occupied valued homes in 2020 is nearly double at 0.91%. The top source of taxes collected in 2022 for the state of Wyoming, and as well as the state of Georgia, is property taxes. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it's been helpful to you. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe to this channel so that you will receive notifications when I upload new videos. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.